It's a royal fantasy vacation for our president. He started off today taking a magical carriage ride with the king. Let's take a peek inside for a regal close-up. There you go. They look like two turkey meatballs you forgot overnight in the microwave. Melania, she got her own carriage ride. She rode behind in a separate carriage with Queen Camilla. Seen here wondering how to turn on this purple lamp.
Does that not tell you everything you need to know about Donald Trump?
I wasn't political till about 6 months ago. I wasn't interested in politics.
Really?
But now I'm just fascinated. Let's not talk about him, though.
That's fine. Let's talk about you. You're more interesting.
I'm not. That's the...
Stephen Colbert and Ricky Gervais are taking Trump apart with such surgical precision it almost feels unfair. But really, the guy hands them all the material he could ever need. Every time he steps up to a podium, it's less a serious presidential briefing and more like watching the world's worst improv troupe try to wing it on live TV. Colbert and Gervais don't even have to embellish. Just pointing out the chaos is enough to make governance look like slapstick, served with a generous helping of delusion.
Today, I'm happy to report it's just plain dumb because, was it just this morning?
Yeah.
Late this morning, the president held an impromptu press conference from a highly unusual location.
Sir, why are you on the roof?
That's nice.
Eva Longoria and America Ferrera aren't just beautiful, talented actresses. They're also two people who your future president, Donald Trump, can't wait to deport.
Colbert zeroes in on the hypocrisy baked into every one of Trump's moves, while Gervais treats him like a character so absurd he wouldn't survive the first draft of a sitcom. Together, they've turned roasting Trump into pure art. Every new scandal a brushstroke, every outburst another splash of paint, until the whole canvas looks like a surreal cartoon of power and freefall. And the kicker? Trump keeps volunteering to be the star of the show.
After the horsey ride, Trump and King Charles went back to Windsor Castle to inspect the beef eaters. And I bet Trump was excited about that. Hold on a second here. Let me get this straight, fella. You're telling me you get paid to eat beef. That's what you're saying?
Trump's obsession with appearances is Colbert and Gervais' favorite playground. Gervais frames him as a man convinced that if the spotlight is bright enough, it'll hide all the cracks in his foundation, turning global summits into nothing more than backdrops for his personal talent show. The presidency becomes a stage, policies are just props, and the audience, well, that's the American people, are stuck watching a one-man show that never takes a single intermission.
I think, what if we just told him he got in? So he gets up every day, right, and he does a little address, and we go, yeah, it's brilliant, the president hybrid, and they're all extras.
Right.
They're all extras, and he just never knows. He was never president.
And we're filming it and watching it.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be amazing.
Oh, that'd be
wouldn't it?
amazing.
I think he'd be up for it.
I bet.
Colbert zeroes in on Trump's non-stop need for validation, pointing out that every boast is really just a desperate plea for applause, like a kid screaming, "Look at me, I'm special." Gervais takes it even further, painting him less as a world leader and more like a reality show contestant whose only prize is his own reflection. The result? Hilarious but brutally accurate, devastating comedy built straight from reality.
The president did some America stuff over there too. He and King Chuck checked out displays from the royal collection about the relationship between Britain and the United States. Reportedly, when he looked at an item related to American independence, he said, "Wow." Yes. Echoing the stirring words of George Washington at Valley Forge, huh.
The international stage turns into comedy gold under Colbert and Gervais. Trump treats diplomacy like a game show, grinning and waving while hoping someone else does the real work. Gervais points out the absurd contradictions, insulting allies while praising adversaries, leaving the world completely baffled. He takes it further, painting Trump as someone who thinks negotiating treaties is basically haggling for used furniture, with all the strategy of a novice and even less dignity.
What's happened is, when you've had privilege so long, equality feels like oppression. They're basically saying, some people want some of our equality.
Yes.
Well, of course they do.
Yes.
That's it.
Damn them, damn their eyes. And one of them ended up president. That's the ultimate offence.
I'm nearly numb to it now. I didn't
sure.
even bother commenting on that tweet the other day where he said,
if I had, even if that terrible shooting, I'd probably have gone in there even if I didn't have a weapon. That's what a 10-year-old says. I could beat up a lion. I could fight a lion if I had to.
In a fair fight, or my dad could.
Yeah.
My dad could wrestle a lion.
Exactly.
So,
But,
and then there was that picture of him with his own kid. He wouldn't even use his umbrella. He was walking
Brilliant.
up the aeroplane steps
I
with an
know.
umbrella over his head, and his kid's getting rained on. But this
Yeah.
is the man that would go in to protect other people's children
Of course,
with his
this is a
bare
man
hands
who
from
had
a
to be helped
shooter.
down the stairs, right? This is a man who was scared of a tame eagle. So,
Trump's relationship with truth is comedy gold for Colbert and Jerry. Facts under his watch are treated like annoying relatives, invited but ignored once they show up. Colbert tears into every claim, showing how they crumble under even the slightest scrutiny, while Jerry paints him as so allergic to reality he should come with a warning label. Together, they reveal that leading with fiction instead of fact doesn't just amuse, it creates chaos. Colbert revels in mocking Trump's endless broken promises. Infrastructure plans that never happened, policies that dissolved into confusion, grand visions that vanished the moment reality touched them. Jerry cranks it up, showing Trump as a salesman hawking castles in the sky, demanding rent for properties that never existed. It's hilarious, but also painfully clear that empty promises are as useless as campaign confetti after the parade ends. Even his rallies, once framed as displays of power, now look like traveling carnivals of recycled slogans. And Colbert points out how every speech is just the last one remixed for an audience clapping along on cue.
Point. The president tried to communicate through hand signals of some kind. I don't know what this is. I think he's saying, look, the Capitol Dome is a D cup. Look at that. Then, look at that. Let's get two of them. One here. One there.
Jerry tears into Trump's theatrics like a master of absurdity, painting him as a circus ringmaster surrounded by loyal clowns, all pretending the tent isn't collapsing. The show must go on, even as elephants escape and the popcorn machine blazes. The economy doesn't get a free pass either. Trump brags about victories while glaring failures get ignored, and Jerry frames it perfectly. A president staring at financial charts like a child at abstract art, praising the lines when they rise and dismissing them as fake when they fall. It's a comedy of convenience, and the only audience buying tickets is him. Colbert zeroes in on the endless victim complex, mocking how the world's most powerful man manages to pout like a school kid denied a game. Jerry adds the kicker, showing a billionaire-turned-president who complains louder than anyone else. A surreal parody that doesn't need a single exaggeration to hit.
I've also never been interested in politics till the last sort of couple of years, and now I am. Now I can't wait for him to wake up and tweet.
Yeah, well, we have to be.
Do you know what I mean?
Because something is.
Oh, I think
there's
so.
a lot at stake, right?
It's made everyone grow up.
Absolutely.
Everyone just thought, well, politics is something that some grown-ups do and they're paid for it and we'll be fine, right?
Right.
But now we go, who's in charge? Who's doing what?
Yeah.
You know, it's like an experiment that went wrong. It's like when a teacher says, well, okay, you be in charge then. And then she goes, oh God, I shouldn't have said that. Look what's happened. They burnt down the lab. You know, it's like.
And then there's Trump's obsession with loyalty, which for him isn't about trust or teamwork, it's about blind applause. Colbert zeroes in on the insecurity of a man who prizes cheerleaders over competent advisors, while Jerry cranks the absurdity up, painting him as a monarch surrounded by sycophants too terrified to tell him the crown is slipping. Scandals roll in like clockwork, each one arriving before the last has faded. And Colbert marvels at the chaos, pointing out how speeches meander like unfinished drafts patched together with filler and recycled bragging. Jerry pushes it further, showing Trump as someone performing karaoke without seeing the lyrics, improvising as he goes while insisting it's a masterpiece. Every presidential tradition becomes a gag. Events meant to show dignity turn into awkward spectacles. Colbert highlights the contrast with past presidents, while Jerry exaggerates it, suggesting Trump treats ceremonies like rehearsals for his own biopic, where he must be the triumphant star in every scene. The result isn't leadership, it's amateur theater with an unlimited budget, and the roast lands perfectly because it's all painfully real.
Then he did some very normal unmiked roof shouting.
What does that mean?
Yeah! What does that mean? What does any of this mean? How are you the guy in charge? Why do we have to pretend?
Colbert and Gervais have a field day with Trump's endless self-congratulation, turning every appearance into a one-man award show where the only nominee is him. Colbert treats it like an eternal acceptance speech, while Gervais pushes it into biting satire, painting him as a man clutching trophies he forged himself, endlessly thanking himself while the audience just stares in disbelief. The comedy lands perfectly because the narcissism is real, just exaggerated enough to sting. On the international stage, Trump's awkward body language, gaffes, and confusion become comedy gold. Colbert skewers the moments, while Gervais frames it as slapstick diplomacy, a president stumbling through summits like he wandered into the wrong meeting. His handling of crises is no different. Colbert mocks how he downplays disasters, contradicts experts, and shifts positions in minutes, while Gervais leans into the absurdity, showing a leader treating emergencies like PR puzzles instead of real human challenges. The result is laughter with an edge, because the consequences are serious, but the behavior is just too ridiculous to ignore.
The president denied that Attorney General Pam Bondi informed him that his name was in the Epstein files. So naturally, last night, the Wall Street Journal reported that Attorney General Pam Bondi informed the president that his name was in the Epstein files. I, for one, was shocked. What are you going to tell me next? That the Pope is in the Catholic files? That a bear is on the cover of this month's Modern Woods Pooper?
Even Trump's body language becomes part of the joke. Colbert exaggerates the awkward hand gestures and over-the-top expressions, turning them into a portrait of insecurity pretending to be strength. Gervais mocks the strut, the forced bravado, the desperate attempt to look confident. Together, they reveal a president who acts like a leader instead of actually being one, a parody wrapped in the office of the presidency. The non-stop chaos he creates is a goldmine for them. Colbert marvels at the constant stream of material, joking that no late-night host could have dreamed of this much content, while Gervais drives the point home. Trump doesn't just generate comedy. He is the comedy. His presidency has turned into a living sitcom, and the punchlines practically write themselves every day. And what makes the roast hit so hard? It's the simple truth behind all the absurdity.
There's a lot of etiquette to remember when you meet the royals. For example, when meeting King Charles or Queen Camilla, the first address is Your Majesty. For Prince William and Princess Catherine, it's Your Royal Highness. And if Trump runs into Prince Andrew, the correct address is We never met, remember? I have no idea who you are.
Trump sees himself as the hero of the story, the savior, the man rewriting history. But Colbert and Gervais make it clear exactly where he really belongs, the clown at the center of the ring, juggling empty promises and tripping over his own lines. Their genius isn't in inventing jokes, it's in exposing reality. Every tiny tick, every awkward gesture becomes comedic gold. When Trump steps in front of a camera, it's less leadership and more a performance that constantly misfires. The stiff shoulders, strange hand movements, and grimaces that look rehearsed but always miss the mark. Colbert turns these into a sketch of a man trying to seem in charge while begging silently for applause, while Gervais elevates it into farce, portraying a leader whose swagger reads more like a cartoon general than authority. Trump's struggle to project natural confidence becomes an entire act, where every exaggerated gesture signals weakness disguised as bravado. Colbert amplifies this, showing how trying so hard to look commanding makes him appear hollow, and Gervais sharpens the point, suggesting he moves like an actor rehearsing a play nobody asked to see, trapped in his own Oval Office theater.
Be crime, but we do have a cover-up. And just like the cover-up on his face, it is patchy and there's some really ugly under there. The incriminating details just keep coming out. For instance, this resurfaced 2010 Jeffrey Epstein deposition.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Okay, that's a slam dunk. Just say no. Okay, take it away, Jeffrey.
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Wow.
Beyond the awkward gestures and grimaces, there's the constant, unstoppable chaos that follows Trump everywhere. Scandals, controversies, bizarre headlines. He produces more raw material for comedy than any writer could dream up. Colbert revels in this non-stop stream, marveling that one president can supply an endless pipeline of absurdity, while Gervais emphasizes that Trump doesn't just invite comedy, he embodies it. The administration itself becomes a live-action sitcom, except it runs the country and nobody can change the channel. The humor doesn't need exaggeration. Reality does the work. Each headline, each decision is already a sketch waiting to happen, a punchline with consequences. Trump frames himself as the epic hero, the savior rewriting history, the towering figure of triumph. But Colbert dismantles that image with surgical precision. Showing greatness can't be declared, only earned. Gervais sharpens it further, portraying a man who insists on scripting his own legend, but keeps producing slapstick instead of victories. The collision of his imagined heroism with visible reality turns him from conqueror to comic relief. A clown stumbling across the stage, juggling vanishing promises, tripping over the pedestal he tries to climb. His obsession with starring in every scene only amplifies the absurdity. Colbert and Gervais don't need to invent anything. The power of their roast comes from holding up a mirror. The exaggeration is minimal because the material is already absurd, the contradictions obvious, and the laughter unstoppable because truth, in this case, is far stranger than any script could ever imagine.